A man goes to a hardware store and asks to buy a chainsaw. The shopkeeper tells him, I've got the perfect one for you. This chainsaw is guaranteed to fell even the largest tree in under a minute. It's just perfect for you. It's exactly what you're looking for. Under a minute, you say. Yep, guaranteed. Well, the man takes it home. He comes back the next day to complain. He said, wait a minute. Under a minute? You're crazy. I started cutting down a tree yesterday at lunchtime, and by 6 in the evening, I'd only managed to get halfway through the trunk. Well, the shopkeeper apologized and said, I'm so sorry, he says. Perhaps the engine's air-to-fuel ratio is just out of an adjustment. I'll just check. Let me take a look at it. So he just pulls on the starter cord, and the chainsaw roars into life. Oh, my God, he explains. What's that noise? You'll get it. Sometimes in life, it's really important to have the right tools, and even more importantly, it's important to know how to use them, isn't it? It's so crucial for our life. If we're working in construction, we're building something or trying to assemble something, we've got to have those tools that really help us along the way. They're the instruments, the implements, the hardware that enable us to do what we're called to do or want to do. And sometimes, if we don't know how to use them properly, well, we miss out immensely. I mean, keys to success in construction is really having that right equipment, that right hardware. How many of you have ever tried to nail a nail with your shoe? Yeah, we've all been there. We tried. We realized that's probably not the right tool. How many of you have tried to saw a board with a knife? In desperation, we've been there. We look for something, anything we can find. And how many of you tried to measure the right length with your fingers, saying, well, it's kind of about this. It's kind of 5 of those or 6 of these. Or, we step it out with the extra large shoes we have, and the next time we put on smaller shoes and just wonder why it never turns out right. Well, often we're just not using the right tools. And we're often maybe not even knowing how to use the right tools. It's tough going in our life. But power tools, wow, when you've got the right ones and you know how to use them, it's amazing. Oh, I'd like to take you back to the year 2006 when we transformed this sanctuary. If you remember, those of you old-timers who were back then in those days, we were on cement floor with no carpet. We had bare walls. It was a totally different ambiance in the room. And when the construction crew came in the renovation due to the damage caused by Hurricane Ivan, the crews came in and we began to do some renovation and redecorating. And I remember standing right there in the back as one man had a power tool, one of those nail guns and a compressor, and the other one with a paintbrush that was a machine that was just painting, and he was putting up those boards all along the walls and going choo, 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 and it was going up the other way, and the spraying was going, and it was happening so fast, I couldn't keep up with them. I said, make sure you get them all equally spaced. Hurry, hurry. And we moved as quickly as we could. When we came to this section right over here, I said, you know what? We had this vision for this little column, and Robert wants to put one of these beautiful ferns on it. Could you build it? Oh, and they're building it just as I'm talking. And, well, wait, I'm not sure I got the right height or whatever. It just went up that quickly. You see, it happens when you've got the right tools. Things fall together, and they go together just so quickly and so amazingly when you have the right tools and you know how to use them. Well, let me tell you, it's the same for our spiritual lives. Today I'm talking about restoration hardware. I'm not talking about a store. I'm not talking about a hardware store. I'm talking about spiritual restoration, as the psalmist writes about restoring the soul. And the hardware that we need, the tools that we need that are given to us to enable this to be a reality for our lives. It's important that we have the right tools and the right implements, and we know how to put them into action. So the Bible is full of all kinds of wonderful instruction for our lives. Great guidance. It is the tool book. It is the source that we go to for great inspiration. Along with many great spiritual teachings and truths, we gather them all together and we find there are mighty tools for us. And when we learn how to use them and put them into action, amazing things happen. The soul is ignited. The soul is restored. The very strength, the good that is there deep within is released. It's a way of living that we find in Psalm 23, for the psalmist really wrote for us these great instructions. It's about this wonderful job that we've got to do in our life of working out exactly what the psalmist has described. And so since we've got a great job, let's kind of roll our sleeves up and dig in. How about it? Let's get right to this Psalm 23. The first phrase says, "The Lord is my shepherd." The Lord is my shepherd. In life, we may think we've got a lot of decisions that we have to make. Throughout the day, we think about, well, you all tried to decide what to wear, and we all made a great choice because you look fabulous today. Give yourself a hand because I think you look really good. We have choices in our lives and decisions to make. Well, we go to work on Monday and we think, how am I going to approach the boss? What am I going to say? What direction will I take in going to work? What roads will I take? Is there too much traffic? I got to make some decisions here. And when we get there, what kind of conversations will I have with my employees or the people around me or my fellow coworkers? What will be the decisions of how I'm going to end my day? Where will I go to lunch? What will I do with my friends? When am I going out to do something social this evening? Lots of decisions in our life. But let me tell you this. There's only one decision that needs to be made in your life. And it needs to be made every day. Who is your shepherd? That's one of the most important things. Because when we understand what a shepherd does, the shepherd is that guide. That shepherd is that's what sets up before us and guiding us to our highest and our very best. So we have to ask ourselves every day in this very important decision is, what is guiding me? What is directing my life? What is unfolding for me my very highest and personal best? You may think you're headed in a certain direction on a day-to-day journey in life. But sometimes what's guiding you will determine the success in achieving that destination or that goal or that dream. Years ago, I had the opportunity to travel with a group to Israel. And when we arrived there, our tour leader had made arrangements and selected a key guide, someone who was very trained. They had 3 years of education. They had studied the Jewish perspective, the Christian perspective, the Islamic perspective, and they were certified by the Israeli government to be a certified tour guide. On the flight, I had the opportunity to chat with a young couple, and it was their first time to come to Israel. They weren't part of our tour group, but we sure enjoyed talking. We had 14 hours, a long flight to get there, lots of conversation. So when we arrived and we were at the airport, we were kind of saying goodbye, and they said, you know what, we're going to find a guide of our own because it sounds like you're going to have a great tour. And they went out, they said, we're going to be staying at some of the same hotels, so we're going to see you there too. I said, oh, that's wonderful. We'll look forward to seeing you to find out how your tour goes. Oh, yes, and we're just going to grab the first taxi driver out there because we know that's going to be the perfect guide for our lives. Well, as the days and weeks went on in our tour, we did run into each other from time to time, and we had some opportunities to chat. And I asked them, how is the tour going? Wow. They said, it's a wild ride. It's fast-paced and amazing. You're not going to believe some of the things that we went to see that our guide took us to. We went to see the very place where Jesus dictated the King James Bible to the disciples. Oh, okay. Oh, and can you believe it? I'm going to let you in on this secret. Our guide took us to this special place where we could buy boxes made out of the very wood of the manger of Jesus. Can you believe it? He said, and he pulled it out of the bag, and he said, look at this. Shh, don't tell anyone, but for $250, I have this box made out of the very wood of the manger of Jesus. My guide said it was a steal. What do you think? So, how was your guide, they asked, and where did he take you? And that's the question in our spiritual lives. Who's guiding you? What's guiding you? What's laying down the pathway for you? And have you chose wisely in what is that guide for your direction? It's a decision we must make every day, for there is a presence that is shepherding us. The wonderful goodness of God that is unfolding for us. And it comes in the very essence of our creative thought that leads and guides us on this wonderful journey of manifesting wonderful, I can't use that word wonderful enough, because truly it describes the possibilities that are available for us. When we open ourselves to the Lord, that consciousness and awareness of God leading and guiding our lives. And when you wake up, when you wake up in the morning and get out of bed, the most important thing you can say is, the Lord is my shepherd. If you haven't said it today, I hope you will say it with me right now. Let's say it together. The Lord is my shepherd. We're allowing and choosing right now, we're setting intention that our mind, our focus is all about the unfolding of the goodness that God has for us, because God is the all good. Amen? So with that, we allow that to be our daily declaration. The psalmist next said, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Have you ever heard people say, I'm not hungry, but I'm bored, so therefore I'll eat? Oh, that's many of us, isn't it? We're not really hungry at all, but we stand at the refrigerator, we look in there, and we think, I'm not really hungry, but what is there? What can I make with pickles, cream cheese, and what is there? A tomato, and, there's, what have I got? Last week's Chinese food, and, they're looking in Tupperware. You're bored. And so you think you're not really hungry, but you want to just go out because you think suddenly that you want. You say, I don't want, but I'm just bored. So maybe I do want. And suddenly we find ourselves in the want zone because we're of simple boredom. And could it be that in the journey of our lives that sometimes we are just living bored spiritual lives? We've come to church, we've come into ritual, we've come into tradition, we've come into this journey of just going to church and being this day-to-day kind of proclamation of, yes, I say this is who I am as a spiritual being, but I'm bored because we're focused on the waiting for someone to do the next big thing that's exciting. We're looking for someone else to do the unfolding. We're looking for someone else to be, and we're just kind of bored in our own lives because we're sitting down watching spiritual lives go on around us and not living our own. Not rolling up our sleeves and discovering the joy of transforming lives, and in the meantime discovering the very joy that comes to us as we teach, as we preach, as we go out and be the light for the world, as we say, you know what, I'm not going to sit here doing nothing. I'm going to go out and shine. I'm going to go out and radiate. I'm going to teach. I'm going to illuminate. I'm going to show someone a pathway. I'm going to help someone else along the way, and with it you find the excitement come into your life. Let me tell you this. The spiritual life that you live could be the most exciting thing in today's world when we walk it by faith and we put it to work. But sometimes we sit and allow it to be a life that's, kind of boring. And so we think, I think I want something. I don't know what it is. But when the Lord is our shepherd, there is no want. Why? Because we're involved in this wonderful direction that's taking us down an exciting pathway. The shepherd is ever leading us, because that's what a shepherd would do. Guide, direct, taking you to new vistas, new places, green pastures, still waters, going onto these wonderful places. And in this incredible journey that you're on with God, it's the ever unfolding of goodness. So the excitement is there to say, what is happening next? I can't wait. Can you imagine if it's exciting right now, 5 minutes right now, it could be even more exciting, and will be as I unfold more and more and more and more and more, because I'm not going to let myself get bored. I'm not the couch potato spiritual person of today's world. I'm the one who has rolled my sleeves up, active and involved. I'm living free from this world of desire that says every day, this is what you need, this is what you need, this is what you need, this is what you need. And suddenly we come from this place that says, wow, I just got 1,001 needs. Some of us have already made our Christmas lists of all the things that we want, that we think we need in life. And isn't it funny that Thanksgiving happens before Christmas? Because it's kind of the season that's getting kind of shoved aside. It's the season of pausing, gratitude, grateful for what you have, before you get into the season of this is what I need and want. Wish lists and Christmas lists and all these wonderful things. It's somehow in today's world it's being swept aside even more and more, as now we're not even taking time to say thanks to God and being grateful as we're rushing off to the shopping that's already begun on Thanksgiving Eve and goes 24-hour marathon into something called Black Friday, because your black and blue is shopping that's going on and pushing through crowds. Wow. What happened to gratitude and thanksgiving that says, I'm just grateful. I have all that I need. When we live in this unattached life and framework, and mindset that says, I'm not always looking out for what I don't have. I'm acknowledging what I do have. It's from the sense of this acknowledgement that more comes to you. We talked about it last week in the scripture of understanding that those who acknowledge what you have will be built on, but those who don't even acknowledge what you have, and you don't even acknowledge it, you lose it. It slips out of your fingers. But when we take the moment to say, wow, I realize I am so blessed. I really don't have a want, because all that is there for my life is fulfilled in the wonderful presence of this shepherd. The Lord, the source of all, that shepherd, the psalmist writes, makes me to lie down in green pastures. You know that it's interesting that sheep will not lie down when they're afraid? You'd think when they were terrified, well, let me just curl up in a little ball, or let me curl over here. But no, they won't lie down if they're afraid. If there's tension in the flock in any shape or form, they're not going to lie down either. They're not going to stop, because that tension creates an energy within the sheep that they're ready to run at any moment. And if they're hungry or concerned about eating, well, there's none of them that are going to lie down in green pastures or rest, because there's a consciousness within the sheep that says, we don't have, we're frightened, we're afraid, we're scared, we don't know what's going to come next, and we got to get ready to run. And you know how sheep at the one moment can scamper off in all kinds of directions. Have you ever played the game Hot Potato? Everybody remember that one? Hot Potato. You know, it's where someone tells you, I'm going to give you this object, and it's so hot. It's so hot, and you got to pretend in your mind that it's just like, if I touch it, it's just hot and hot, hot. Maybe you got a ball or something, and you're just bouncing up. It could burn my hands. It could burn my hands. And don't drop it on the ground, because if you do, it could burn the ground, roll on your toes. You got to keep it moving. So what do you do with that hot potato? Well, you toss it to the next person, don't you? You pass it around, and it goes here, it goes there. It's bouncing around like a ball, and the game is filled with all kinds of activity, because nobody wants to hold on to the hot potato. Nobody wants to get burnt. Nobody wants to be the one holding on to it in some way. So you don't caress it. You don't care for this hot potato that's burning your arms and scalding your hands. You don't hold on to it. You don't embrace it. Oh, my Lord, you don't cling to it at all. It's hot. And your mind says, I got to get rid of this, and I got to do it right now. Let me tell you this. We've got some hot potatoes thrown to us in life. There's some of these thoughts of fear, lack, insecurity, thoughts of jealousy, and envy, and anger, thoughts of revenge and ego, thoughts that say, I'm not worthy, I feel less than. And what do we do with them? They're hot potatoes. You're going to get burnt when you hold on to it. Oh, but I know it's hot. It's burning, it's burning, it's burning. Oh, I know it, but I like my fear. I want to hold on to it. Oh, and I like my sense of lack, and I know that God's never going to make a way for me, and I'm just going to always suffer. Oh, I like it, I like it. I'm burning, I'm burning, I'm burning. Get rid of it. Toss it aside. What do we do with those damaging hot potato thoughts that burn us, that scare us, that damage our success, that hold us back? I'm going to tell you, folks, you toss it, and you toss it right now. Toss it right now. You don't hold on to it. You don't hang on to it. You don't caress it. You don't cradle it. You don't embrace it. You release it, because it's not a productive thought. It's not helping you. It's not leading you and guiding you. It's not a shepherding thought that's taking you to your highest and your best. If we're not letting go of these things, and we let these things get in the way and the focus of our living, then this fear and tension, distractions can somehow keep us from even seeing that there's green pastures right where we are, because we're embracing these thoughts. So we are like those sheep. We can't lay down. We don't rest. We're in tension and fear, and we're caught up in this. And so what happens in those moments when we get like we just can't even see that there's green pastures right in front of us? So as a pastor, as your spiritual guide, as a shepherd, I'm saying to you, just chill. Get rid of the hot potato. Chill. Get rid of that hot thought. Get rid of that thing that's damaging, and just breathe, because I want to tell you this. Right where you are is green grass. Right where you are has all the potential and possibility of something amazing unfolding in your life when you allow it. When we let God be our shepherd, this presence enables us to lie down on those beautiful green pastures. Did you notice it didn't say that the Spirit or this wonderful presence, this shepherding, was going to take you out to a desert? Didn't say there's going to be a dirt road that you'll be traveling on and you're going to be led to that where there'll be sparse nutrition or food for you. Didn't say that, oh, I'm going to take you onto these places where when you get there it's going to be rocky and all gravel and we're going to expect you to lie down. But instead the psalmist says, this is the truth. You're going to experience green, lush, green, comforting, soft pastures to rest and to lie in, to be refreshed, to be nurtured, to feed upon. Now let me tell you, these green pastures are here, they're everywhere, they're all around you, because it's not about the color. It's really not about the color. It's about the awareness that there is wonderful nurturing and feeding of the goodness of God right now in this moment, readily accessible to you when you open your life up to that. Where you acknowledge that you are standing on holy ground, for God is with you, never leaving nor forsaking you, that the presence of God is all around you, about you, flowing in and through you. And right where you are is sacred space. And sacred space is good and holy space. It's space that is holy and complete, and all that you need is available to you right here, right now, when you breathe and acknowledge and recognize it. The abundance of the Spirit is that there is there for you to partake if we will just dismiss, get rid of those hot potato thoughts, and welcome the awareness that God is with you. Now, the psalmist writes, the Lord leads me beside still waters. Key word is still. They're calm, refreshing, not turbulent, not wild, not filled with 10-foot waves. God leads us not into those chaotic waters of life. We wander there on our own. We get there and we look and all we can see is chaos because our eyes are caught on that. But the psalmist is writing to us, inviting us to raise the gaze above that earthly realm to understand in the spiritual that around you are the possibilities for still waters. Places where we can encounter God in the wonderful presence and the unfolding of all the very goodness that God has for us. And the end result of all of these steps, deciding and making the decision that the Lord will be your shepherd, that this is your consciousness, this is your direction of life, and that says that when we decide that, we are not wanting, we're not in lack, we're not in need, that we understand that we're in green pastures and all about us are still waters. There's some incredible tools to enable us to live a spiritual life that's amazing. And what does the psalmist say that happens to us? The end result is this presence restores your soul. Restores it. This kind of life allows the removal of obstacles and things that may be in your way for the unfolding of the very good. Blessings are there. We just have to remove the obstacles, and restoration of the soul takes place. But wait a minute. What is restoration? It's restoring to the original, right? So we're going to be restored in the midst of all this chaos to that which was originally us. And when we embrace that and understand that, we see that the shepherd is describing for us, or the psalmist is writing for us, that there is an awareness that there is the original state is good and beautiful. I don't know about you, but ever been to a furniture restore or taken a piece of furniture there to be restored? And when you do, you may see it not looking so beautiful and the finish all tarnished and beaten up or maybe splattered with paint or worn down and abused, but the restorer brings it back to its original luster and beauty and finish. Doesn't take it off and say, I've tried to restore it, but it's really worse. It's really bad. It's even more ugly than when you brought it to me. That's not true. For when we restore a furniture to its original luster, we enable the original character of the wood to be expressed. Let me tell you this, the God that is at work within us, restoring to our very best, restores us to this understanding that this wonderful unfolding of goodness has always been there, just waiting for a little restoration to happen. For within you, you were created in the image of God, created in the divine. The spark of the good is deep within you. It is ever present with you. For the kingdom of heaven is within, not without. Don't look anywhere else. And when we acknowledge that, we release and let go these crazy teachings that said, you are really bad, you're evil, you're innately a horrible person, you're not worthy, and there's nothing very good for you. Well, because do you think the restorer would take us back to that place? Do you think God, who is the shepherd that takes us to a place of not wanting and green pastures and still waters, is going to restore the soul to understanding, you know what, you're just a piece of work. You're a mess. You're not worthy. You have no value. You're sinful and innately bad. You're a horrible thing. You're not worthy, and you're damned for hell. Well, is that the restoration? I don't believe it is. For the restoration is coming back to the all good and discovering within us is this wonderful spark of the divine that was there when you were created, when you were born. The wonderful goodness of God is waiting to unfold. We just need the tools to do the restoration work of that soul that wants to unfold all the good. That's when we acknowledge God. And we say, the Lord, this consciousness is my shepherd. It's guiding and directing my life. I have no need. I am so at peace because I know that I'm right here in this holy presence of all good. And I know that in there, no harm, nothing can come to me. I'm just living in the unfolding of the goodness of God. And I'm nurtured by green pastures and still waters. So let me tell you this. The tools for us are available. We just need to pick them up. Are you ready to make this decision? Who's leading you? And discover that then when we make this daily decision every day of our life, that obstacles fall away. Obstacles to too many wants and wants and wants. Obstacles of fear. Obstacle of not knowing stillness or peace or green pastures. For with these tools, the very highest and best is yours. It's waiting for you. Why? Because the Lord is your shepherd. Amen.
Blessed be the name.